What did Jim Ryan say? What's up, everybody? Destin Legary here, talking about this Microsoft story, having a little bit of fun with my intro. If you like my content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when it goes live. So let's talk about this story, because yet again, and honestly, people are like, you got to be tired of talking about this. I am kind of tired of talking about it, but here's Jim Ryan again, playing the victim about Microsoft keeping Call of Duty multi-platform. Let's read what he had to say this time. Microsoft Activision acquisition expected to face deeper investigations in UK, EU. Update. Sony says deal will have, I'm laughing at myself about the intro. Sony says deal will have major negative implications. Microsoft says removing Call of Duty from PlayStation makes zero business sense. Microsoft's $68.7 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard is expected to be investigated extensively by both UK and EU regulators. Earlier this month, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority recommended it begin a second phase investigation into impact of the deal, concerned that Microsoft's ownership of Activision Blizzard would result in a substantial lessening of competition within a market of markets in the United Kingdom. We talked about that one in an earlier video I can link to here, but anyway, continuing on. Microsoft was given 5 business days to supply evidence that would allay these concerns, but the Financial Times reports it has opted not to do so. Sources familiar with the situation told the Financial Times that Microsoft believed there were no obvious commitments it could make that the CMA would be likely to accept. As such, an in-depth investigation is expected to start this week. The Financial Times sources also expect a similar situation with regulators in the European Union. Both Activision and Xbox have been in pre-notification talks with regulators in Brussels since January, with Microsoft expected to officially file its case in the coming weeks. People familiar with the process expect regulators to carry out a more scrutinous investigation due to its size and potential impact. It's a big deal. A difficult deal, a source from Brussels told the Financial Times. It needs an extensive investigation. One point of contention remains the implications for Xbox's main rival, Sony, especially with the possibility of making Call of Duty, one of the biggest game franchises in the world, exclusive to Microsoft platforms. Wait, what? One of the points, they've said it's not going to be exclusive. One point of contention remains the implication for Xbox's main rival, Sony, especially with the possibility of making Call of Duty one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world exclusive to Microsoft platforms. They've stated multiple times that won't happen. So let's read what it says here. Xbox has repeatedly assured it will not do this, at least not in the short term, with Xbox boss Phil Spencer recently revealing the company was making an agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for several more years. PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan responded via a statement to GameIndustry.biz, claiming the proposed deal was inadequate on many levels. In the wake of the CMA's recommendations for a longer investigation, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick said he still expects the acquisition to be approved and completed by the end of the year, June 2023. You can read more about the deal here. And here's the update. Sony has responded to the CMA's decision to further investigate the acquisition and says it welcomes the announcement. By giving Microsoft control of Activision games like Call of Duty, this deal would have major negative implications for gamers and the future of the gaming industry, the firm said in a statement to GamesIndustry.biz. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experience, and we appreciate the CMA's focus on protecting gamers. So here's the thing, Jim Ryan. You don't care about protecting gamers. You care about protecting Sony's bottom line. And this is what really is upsetting me. And it upsets a lot of people because we smell bullshit. We know you're lying. Like, take a look at this. This is a real quick montage I did just of the stuff being announced on the same day they're making these claims. These are the trailers that are running on PlayStation. You have exclusive content for Harry Potter. You have exclusive content for Call of Duty, an exclusive skin. Yes, it's not that big of a deal, but you also get exclusive early access to the beta on PlayStation. And Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy Remake Integrated, I believe, are still exclusive to PlayStation. So you don't care about protecting gamers. And the reason this gets me so riled up is because it's bullshit. You don't care about protecting gamers. You care about protecting PlayStation, and PlayStation being number one in the market. And you know, if Xbox owns Call of Duty, that you're going to have to figure out new ways to compete. And you don't like that. You would much rather stay on top. So the response, I believe I already read, which was at the bottom. It just says that Microsoft has responded. Here it is. Microsoft has responded to Sony's comment regarding the shooter franchise. In a statement to us, a spokesperson said, "It makes zero business sense for Microsoft to remove Call of Duty from PlayStation, given its market-leading console position. There's no reason that Xbox would do this. And people are tired, myself included, of Jim Ryan pretending like this is about anything else than their bottom line. Sony, just stop it. We all know why you actually care. You think this will negatively impact you. Ubisoft didn't care. EA didn't care. Nobody else cared in the industry. Nintendo didn't care. Facebook didn't care. I believe Facebook even supported it recently. One reaction was from Yang Ye. I happen to see this. He uses me in his videos apparently, so I'll use him in mine. Sony needs to stop with the BS act that their objection to Microsoft acquiring Call of Duty is about protecting gamers, when it's really about protecting their own wallets and corporate interests, especially when Sony itself is no stranger to contentious exclusivity practices." Exactly. And I personally don't care about exclusivity practices. It really doesn't bother me that much. But when you have somebody pretending that this is about exclusivity when it's not, when somebody is being misleading with their statements, that really bothers me. And a lot of people bring up the conversation. So Jim Ryan is upset because there was a conversation that happened back in January where there was talks about having Call of Duty's games exclusive for the next 3 years. However, since then, since January, it was announced around February, and since then, they have committed to Call of Duty being multi-platform. So it's just absolute BS that Jim Ryan is taking this line about it hurting gamers in the long run. It's going to hurt PlayStation to no longer be able to launch all of their exclusive stuff and keep that 70% market share of PlayStation sales digitally. In doing so, we will pursue a principled path. We've heard that this deal might take franchises like Call of Duty away from places where people currently play them. That's why, as we've said before, we are committed to making the same version of Call of Duty available on PlayStation on the same day the game launches elsewhere. So, again, to reiterate, nothing is going to change in regards to exclusivity for PlayStation. And I actually wanted to find, I had another tweet up here, but I lost it. It was from Dom's Playing, who I had asked. Let me just look up my search here. Apologies. Oh boy. I had this up, but I lost it. So basically, I said, hypothetically, what happens if the deal doesn't go through? Hypothetically, what happens? Good question, he says. In this long shot event that it does not get approved, I imagine Activision executives would field other offers from non-platform holders or begin looking to divest businesses individually. I find it hard to see a scenario where it remains independent and with the same leadership. Someone says, do you think Xbox could be one of the people looking to grab an individual purchase if it comes to that? Or would the failed overall deal have soured them away completely? Another good question, and a somewhat complex one indeed. I don't know if Microsoft would take that sort of risk. In the hypothetical reality where major regulators decline the purchase of the full company, management would probably look elsewhere. If this deal falls apart, it won't. Like, Microsoft is going to take whoever to court who tries to deny it and make sure that it goes through. But if it were to fall through, this would not be good for Activision employees. and it would not be good for Activision, period. Likely, it sounds like Dom Swing, and he's an analyst. Dom works for, he's a free agent, and he's a games industry analyst, and he's been cited by many other analysts in the field. And basically, it doesn't sound like it's good if this does not go through. Now, I also watched Hoag's Law video. You should go watch his whole thing. But let's say this doesn't go through in the UK because of PlayStation. Microsoft in UK would start talking. A consent decree, I believe is what it would call, would be drawn up outlining how they would compete in the UK. Now, hopefully that is good enough. Like, okay, we won't have Call of Duty on Xbox Game Pass could be an example of something that they would say. However, if the UK can't come up with an agreeable consent decree, Hoaglaw says that they could change how they sell Call of Duty specifically in that location. So maybe Call of Duty doesn't come to Game Pass in the UK. Xbox could sue the UK and tie this up in litigation for many years, meaning just like Call of Duty. I don't know what happens with Call of Duty in the meantime there. Microsoft could also stop selling all of their products to the UK. That'd be like the nuclear option. Hopefully I said that word right. But that would mean like Windows, Xbox, everything. They just stop selling it in the UK if they want to, play it that way. And he pointed out that you've seen this before with commercials like the Big Ten network pressuring Comcast to carry them, saying like, oh, you don't get the Big Ten anymore. Well, you better tell Comcast to smarten up and support us again. Realistically, this has been approved in Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure what Brazil landed on yet, but we have all that Brazil documentation. I think they largely don't care about it thus far. We're still waiting on the USA. We're still waiting for EU and the UK to see what happens. But a lot of people keep citing the quote from Bethesda. They're like, well, look what happened with the Bethesda games. Let's look at what was actually said about Bethesda games, because it's not similar to what's being said now. But if you're an Xbox customer, I want you to know that this is about bringing great exclusive games that will be delivered on platforms where Game Pass exists. And that's our goal. So that's what we're doing. That's at the root of this partnership we're building. And the creative skills we can bring to market for Xbox customers will be the best we've ever seen for Xbox. That was him on Bethesda. And those games were exclusive. Now we know Starfield is exclusive. We know the next Fallout is going to be exclusive. We know Elder Scrolls Online is going to continue to be multi-platform. Fallout Online is going to continue to be multi-platform. But future Bethesda titles will be Xbox exclusive as far as we know. Continuing on, though, what was said about Minecraft? Because it's very similar to what they're saying about Activision. For Minecraft, they said gaming is the top activity across devices, he said, and we see great potential to continue to grow the Minecraft community and nurture the franchise. That is why we plan to continue to make Minecraft available across platforms, including iOS, Android, and PlayStation, in addition to Xbox and PC. And what did I just tell you that they said about Call of Duty? It's going to remain multi-platform. That's why, as we've said before, we are committed to making the same version of Call of Duty available on PlayStation on the same day the game launches elsewhere. We will continue to enable people to play with each other across platforms and across devices. What did they say about Minecraft? Gaming is the top activity across devices, he said, and we see great potential to continue to grow the Minecraft community and nurture the franchise. That is why we plan to continue to make Minecraft available across platforms, including iOS, Android, and PlayStation, in addition to Xbox and PC. This will likely be used as leverage for future exclusivity deals, because we know PlayStation is actively blocking games from coming to Xbox Game Pass. We know that they are paying for Final Fantasy VII Remake exclusivity and what was the other one? Final Fantasy 16 exclusivity. We know they have exclusivity on the game Forspoken. They have exclusivity, an exclusivity window on Deathloop, and one on the other one that Xbox owns now, Ghostwire Tokyo. So like, for them to be like, we care about what's best for gamers. No, you don't. You care about what is best for PlayStation's bottom line. And that's fair. I totally get that. I just don't like bullshit. And that's exactly what you're doing. You are hamming it up for the regulators, acting like you've never done anything like this. Xbox has done stuff like this, but they didn't pretend that they were doing it to protect gamers, right? And it's such a weak argument, and it's just frustrating to hear. And yet again, Jim Ryan is crying foul about this whole deal going through, and I just find it to be absolute nonsense. It's very frustrating, and that's why I get so riled up about it. People said I need to chill about it. Sure, I'll chill about it when Jim Ryan chills about it and starts telling the truth about why he's actually concerned about this deal. He's concerned because so much revenue for PlayStation is earned by Call of Duty. This has nothing to do with the quality of the game because all signs point to things being much better for the employees. We've heard all the reports about what Activision is like. Xbox has committed to making it a better workplace. So just like, I do not buy any of this nonsense from Sony about them being concerned about the gamer. They're concerned about their bottom line, period. And most people see right through it. Anyway, that's my video for the day. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Who knows what's going to be said next. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thanks so much to the members that support this channel. I greatly appreciate you. Hit that join button right down there to know when my content goes live. I'm probably going to launch this one in the middle of the night because why not? Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you for the next time. Bye for now.